while explaining who we are, it is also important to shine light on who we are not. And to answer that, Anand, I'd like to bring you in. You also work very closely with all our portfolio startups. So could you help us understand what all does Product 10x not do as part of the startup co-creation journey, especially knowing that there are a million things that you could take on as a startup co-creator?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It's obvious for people to say what a accelerator does and what it does, but it is really important to understand when you really have a clear definition of what is and is not, then things get much clearer, right? So with that, I can give you a little bit of how we have actually worked with startups, right? That's the first thing to do. If you summarize the areas that Suresh and Yogi mentioned, we actually have partnered with founders, entrepreneurs who want to make something out of their idea or their passion in what they work on, to launch companies, to accelerate companies, to scale companies, and get to a point where they get to a product market fit and demand the valuation that they want from their company and grow from there. That's who we are. So if you think about it, that journey is not easy, as you know. It requires a number of adaptations and modulations and pivots, all of that is needed. So one of the things that we've actually tried to do is be part of them in that journey. And that's what we call as a co-creation journey. We are in it with them during the duration of that journey, where they are really able to see the clear value for their product, their passion, their idea, and actually realize the value of it. So with that said, one of the areas that we wanted to be very clear about who we are not. Product 10x is not a development company. We are not a fundraising company. We are not any of those things that the startup founders would come to expect. Can you do this? Can you do that? We are not going to actually execute your startup, right? It's a very simple thing. You are the owner of your startup. You execute your startup. But at the end of the day, we are here to help you with everything that goes along with building a company out of your startup, right? So a company involves many things. It involves sales, marketing, fundraising constantly, getting your messaging right, getting your selection of your correct development team or the right decisions that you need to make in terms of how you grow your company and what roles to bring in at what time. All of those are important. So we help with those areas, right? And at the end of the day, people ask us, why are you not a cohort-based accelerator or a co-creator? We have found that a longer term work with our program, co-creation programs that we have created, brings a lot more value for founders because they have us invested in them as much as they're invested in us in a two-way direction. And that's the main thing, right? So if you look at launching a company, sustaining a company, constantly finding product market fit, as Suresh pointed out earlier, is going to be the challenging part. That's what we drive with a product-led strategy and growth model that we have enabled for some of our startups as well. Again, one of the things that's important, that's one of the biggest reasons why we have built a strong partner ecosystem for ourselves. So our companies can actually find the right partners in our ecosystem to realize the value that or the needs that they need to address. That's how I would like to basically say who we are not, but in also the value that working with startups in the way that we have done is that the co-creation has really resonated very well with a founder, because within the space that we have been in, they realize a longer term value and not a 3 to 6 month, course programs and things like that they are used to. But here they are actually getting people that are fractionally doing some of the roles and being part of them in the trenches with them and executing towards their vision.
Right. And I think to be able to define who we are not and what will we not do brings a lot of laser sharp focus in terms of who and what all things will we be doing for them and bring, astronomical value to these startups.